Okay, so we're just going to measure the tape. We've got 1230 measured off here, and I'm just going to basically run the strips. I'm not too sure if you can see all of that. Yep, should be able to. It's a bit clearer out there, but. And we just want to run 4 of these with a 9mm belt. Up to the same spot. Once you've got the first one cut off, measure them all to the same. So that's all we need to do. Measure that one. The rest can be measured off this piece here. So we start from this end. Done. Recheck that. That's right. Last one. That's too short. Oh no, it's just, which one is it? Let's just get this here. Pretty close. And we had about 40mm to spare. Let's double check this one. Perfect. So yeah, so that was all that was left out of that roll. About 40mm. But if I hadn't have gone the 30mm over, it would have been, almost 120. So almost 200mm would have been left. So that's those 4 belts done. Okay, our 4 belts are cut. I've just rolled them up loosely here. So we've got all of our parts here that we need for the job. These 4 here are for the Z blocks for holding up this gantry once it's actually in place. These ones here hold the belt. And also they have a nut in here that sits between the, so basically what happens is this part, once it's installed, sits like that. Belt's locked in here, this whole gantry gets flipped over. So this here sits like this. The capture nut's sitting in here. And that's, the nut sits in there. And then this piece here, once it's installed, goes up and bolts through and connects onto this somehow. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. So we're just gonna, we'll flip all these over and we'll put our nuts on first. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Set our the groove up the little red piece. Get them kind of facing the same way. And now put your bolts through. Big ones and the little ones. Making sure that nut doesn't come out of there. Otherwise you're not going to be able to bolt this up to it. Okay, so we'll just carefully flip this over. And what we've got to do is grab one of your belts, and I'll zoom in so that we can watch one come over this side. Okay, so basically we're going to get one of our belts, just drop it down, and it flicks across the gantry and comes back this way, because eventually it's going to go down this hole here. So it's just got to be located onto the outside, on the very outside in the groove, and then we basically hold our finger on towards there. Get your piece orientated right. Make sure your T-nuts are lined up before you put this in, otherwise you'll have a pain trying to get it in there. Get that sitting in there nicely. Push down, hold this all in one piece. Get your little screwdriver first and do start the small one, because I've had a couple of problems with the little one start moving, and then get the outside one. Obviously we're making sure that that groove is facing down towards the belt. So I've kept pressure on this block all the way. Use the right screwdriver, helps. I've kept the pressure on this all the way until I can feel it binding onto the belt. And now that's bound up. And you can have a look through the side and you can see the little notch that's facing down towards the belt. And again. Okay. So yeah, so that little notch there faces down towards the belt like that. Okay, so that's one done. Flick this belt over so you don't connect up the same end to the other end of the same belt. Get a new belt, throw it across the gantry like so, and we'll go across to the other side. So again, line up your T-nuts with a screwdriver or a piece, and then we're just going to hold it onto the, so it's like in the motor part is a bit bit trickier because it's bulky and it's in the way. So just hold that there. So it's sitting on the edge, very edge, and it's sitting in the groove. That's why it's easier to have these all assembled first, and then get these in, drop it down, hold the pressure down on it, get this bolt started, start your small one. I know you probably can't see that because my hand's in the way. I have not moved that belt at all. I've kept downward pressure on this block. It's started to bind now, so I can put the other one in. That's why it's good having two separate drivers, so you can. Okay, I'll just quickly check and make sure that hasn't slipped out. No, I can still see that. And the belt obviously faces down, not upwards like that. Well, it might not be obvious to some. Anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. Okay, so that's those two done. And we'll spin the gantry around. So notice that these gantry motors are upwards, and when it goes into place in the machine, it actually flips over. So we'll flip this around, and we'll do this end. Grab another belt. Same thing again. Teeth down towards the notches. Where is it? I'm sure you better see that. Yep, so line your teeth up to the very outside one. And it should sit in the groove. You'll feel it notch in. Hold your T-piece together, make sure your nut doesn't fall out. Line it up, push down, grab your small one and get that started. Cool. Always maintain downward pressure on this block until you've got it. Now you can see it's starting to bind up on the belt there, touching the belt. Get this last one in, and as the pressure comes on, we can now remove our hand. And you don't want to screw the heck out of it, but you don't want it so loose that it's, you know, some people would buy a torque wrench for this, but I've done many years of mechanical work, so I know what a couple of foot-pounds feels like. Some people don't until it just keeps stripping it, and they end up stripping bolt and snapping bolts off and all sorts of stuff. So last one. Again, make sure you've got a belt that's not connected at the other end. Flick it across, teeth down, come towards the outside. Grab your piece. Hold your thumb towards the inside so it's not going to bind up on the thing. Keep the pressure on the block so your nut doesn't fall out. Start with the small one, I've just found it's easier. Come on. Here we go, it just starts to bind on the belt, and then move to your big one. Now it's really binding on the belt. Okay, that's it. So that's your 4 belts done. sorted now. So the next thing that we've got to do is we've got to put the this whole frame, gantry frame assembly into the unit. So what I've done is I've prepared a set of zip ties. So I've actually, the box with the MGP kit comes with a bag of 100 cable ties, and I've just tied 3 together so 4 lots of 3. So I'm just going to get a towel and cover the build plate while we carefully set the gantry on there, like so. And then we're going to bring the gantry across. And we're going to flip it over. So, and angle it in on an angle, carefully. So I'm just going to grab the zip ties. I'll get one side up, so one side of this on each. So I'll just bring it up and I'll hook this one in. Make sure it's right. Yep. So I'll just lift this up. I'm just going to hold my finger over there and get this last one in. So it helps if you prepare things a little bit so that you're ready to go. I'm not saying this is going to go well, but okay, so that's one piece done. Get the next one, and doing behind this piece here. So just pull this piece up, put it into there. Just give it a pull, and then the other 2 go on this side. Up over the top of those ones. There we go. So it is definitely suspended in the middle of nowhere. We'll just get this side done. And this one here is pretty much self-sustaining. And just be careful that it doesn't roll backwards and flip on you like that was about to. So you can basically pull these to the back. These 2 here go to the back, these 2 come to the front. Flip this over the top. And that's just to suspend it to get it all in place. Now, let's jump through here. So I'm just going to pull this side up a bit. Zip this side up. Roughly about, I'm just roughly doing it about a hand height. Roughly about even, and that's got that part done. So now we've got to work on the I'll take one of these little bungs out of the Magic Phoenix rails, and I'll just sit it up here so that it can't drop down too far. If you can get it back in. They're quite tight to get there, there you go. So I'm just going to undo this piece of tape. Pretty sure I put a little safety flap on there, yep. folded over bit, yeah, so that just sits in there. Make sure that I don't have any of these grommets in the back here. Get the one at the top here out of the way, because it's not going to fall up. So you can see the motors are sitting downwards now. So I'll just get these top bungs out, little rubber bungs that stop the carriers from falling off, which is quite a good little setup. So with these other blocks, looks like we just bolt onto here, like so, and then the bolt goes up through. And connects up into the bottom of this block, at the top of the block, the piece that's got the nut right at the top there. So we need some more bolts. Hey, Wester here. Hey, anyway, I was working on the Voron and I was just starting to put the gantry and stuff in, and I was like kind of battling with things, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I just use this? So what I've done is we've got a massive lazy Susie that we use on the kitchen table, and I'll just put a set of coasters under it, underneath the motors, where it sits on perfectly, just in here and here. And now I can rotate the unit round without me having to climb up and down and around and move around stuff. I'll just move it out. Oh, I'll just move it out a little bit closer to the edge of the bench there, so I can get to it from three sides. So I just need to move it over, like so. And now I've got access to it from this side, and this side, and I can just pretty much work here and just roll it around. Which, yeah, I thought that was a bloody good idea. So I've got the belts wrapped up around the top frames around here, and yeah, so now it's a matter of putting the Z blocks on, which are over here. So I've just got to bolt these up to the carriages for the sliders. So I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to put a towel on the bed there, and then we'll get into it. So I'm just going to put these little grommets that come with the Magic Phoenix rail kits. I'm just going to actually, that's come back into focus. Yep. I'm just going to put a stop here, one of the grommets in, so that it stops it from coming all the way down, if it'll go in, of course. Yep, there we go. So that way I can bolt my block on. So these need 3x20s, I think they are. Where's that? 3x20s. Yep. Socket head screws. And it goes with the tapered side towards the bottom like that, so it doesn't go up that way, because it's got a little indentation for the socket head to go, which is a 40mm, I think. Yeah, 5x40. So I'll grab those 5x40s. Yeah, 4 of those. So basically you just put your 4 bolts in, like so. So I'll get them into all of these. Shouldn't be too long. Okay, so that's all 4 of those. So we just need our little driver, the small one, this one here. Yep. So this goes to the bottom. This notchy piece here goes to the bottom. So get that before it falls out. It's a bit awkward. Just getting that first one started. I always do these up diagonally. Not that it's a big bearing block or anything like that, or a main 4-bolt main bearing on an engine or anything, but it's just habit, so you can evenly get the load evenly dispersed. So that's one, and the good thing about that is you can just move it around. To the next one, which I'll spin this camera around so you can see. So I've just got to pull this tape off. So I put I folded it over so it's got like a little tongue, so you just grab it. So before I release that, I'll put my little bung in here, little rubber bung that comes with these. It's a pretty great idea. And then that sits down on there. Get my block and my screw, my driver. Line it up. Get the diagonal top one lined up, and then screw the other 2 in. Just tightening it up now. Okay, so I can pull that up, pull the bung out, and then we can come around to the one on the opposite side, so you don't have to move. I'll grab my other bung here, and we'll lift this one up, put the bung on, set it on there. Come on, focus. Okay, hang on, we'll just move out a little bit. Doesn't want to focus. Zoom out till it does then. I think it's the sunlight, it doesn't like the sunlight out there. Okay, so we'll just put this one in. Just line it up with the outside. I'm just lining it up with this one here first. Get that lined up by eye. Sit in there and then you can get it started. Your bung out. Okay, that's that one done. And there's one to go. So this is the last one here. So again, we'll put another bung out. I'll just put it in here. Take this tape off. Put the bung in, sit it down. Roll up a little wee bit so you can see it. So it's got the Magic Phoenix actually marked on it, which is cool. And then grab your last block. Again, make sure that it's at the bottom. Line it up. Get that first one started, and then you're away. Give it a bit of a wiggle to get the second one started. Just to line it up. Go opposite. Do up the last one. Now, just tighten it up. I'm just using my thumb open, pretty much like that. You might not be able to see it. And that's when I start feeling a bit of strain, quite a bit of strain on my thumb. That's tight enough for me. Take your bung out, drop it down, get your 40mm and your 4mm driver. Your 5mm by 40 with your 4mm driver. That goes up through the hole like that. Then we should be able to line this up with gantry. Okay, that's that one done. Move around. I'll skip one and go to the second one so you guys can still see it. Just poke it up through the bottom. Goes up through the top of this one. Get your belt out of the way, make sure you haven't punched your belt or anything like that. Okay, and then we move around to half a slot to this one here. Put our bolt in, put it on your 4mm driver, it's easier. Put our bolt in, slide it up through the hole. Get your belt out of the way, make sure it's not going to be picking up on anything. And then do your nut up. And then move on to the last one, which is over here. Last bolt. Slide it up, slide it in, belt clear. It'll probably take a little bit of manoeuvring this one because it's the last one to kind of try and line everything else up. Belt's clear. Okay, so that's all the Z blocks in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's yeah, so we're ready to pretty much shred the belts. So we're going to install the belts now. So we've just installed our Z blocks, and which is basically allowing the gantry to run up and down. So I'm just going to cut through the zip ties. And support the gantry, so I'm just going to do opposite sides. All 4 of those. So now we can unwind the belts. Remove all your zip ties. Set it down there for now. So first thing we've got to do, so I'll just get these belts through. So it's not sitting on the belts. Yep. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to basically loosen off all these Z idlers and then screw them in. I'm pretty sure I did it. Yeah, the screw just here. Yeah, I've got those wound out. So you basically wind them right out. I did them before. Wind them right out and then screw them in 4 turns. But I will check. So that's come right out. That's at 4. Some of them are looser than others though. This one here is a little bit, it's not too bad. But basically, yeah, a little tang here. Not sure if you can see that. Yeah, you might be able to. Might be able to get you there. Nah. Oh, wrong side. We'll try and look through. We'll drop you down and we'll slide into the, yeah, there you go. I'll just take you down a little bit and there, so that groove there right here should be, when it's wound out correctly, it should be about 1 millimetre below the surface of this face here. That's the correct position. So just basically do a visual check on all of those and make sure each one is between 1 and 1.5 mil below the surface. Yep. This one here needs to come out a bit. Yeah, it's come right out. It's about 4 turns. So they're all about the same, pretty much. It's hard to see with the sun there. Oh yeah, no, that one needs to come out a little wee bit as well. Right out, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yeah, so approximately 1 millimetre below the surface. So that was a great shot of the lights. I'll cut that out. No. So now we're going to thread the belts. So let's get into it. So I've got my mining light on, my LED headlight. So basically the belt, I've got a couple of coffee jars holding the frame up just a fraction. The belts come straight down out of where they're contained here, straight down. They drop down through the idler gear, through the drive gear, and then they come back up, come in through a hole here in the block. Not sure if you can see that. It comes up through here, and then it comes over the idler, comes up, and over the back of the idler, comes down the front of the idler, and then locks in here and pokes out this way, I believe. Yeah, it comes out, so it comes down, because that's on the inside of where the frame is, through here, and then it's down. So let's give it a go. We have to turn the drive motor to actually get it through. So let's just start with the bottom part. So we've just got to grab this belt and just pull it up out of the way a little bit. Drop it down into here. Spin it. No, there's no need. Rightio. And then that feeds back up again. So it feeds up the other side. So I'll just pull it all the way down, pull it all the way through. And then feed it up. Where is it? Up there. There's a hole here. Right underneath there's a hole in the unit. So I need to get that there, up that side like that. thread that through, and that comes up through this hole and through here. Hooks up through here. I don't know if you can see that. No. So it comes down and then comes up, and then it comes up through this. Once it goes around the bottom of the pulley, it comes back up through here, and then it comes up over the top to the idler, comes through the idler, comes through the top of the idler, and then comes down the outside, and then it sits through there. So it sits in the block. So it looks right. Yep, and then that basically goes through here, so I'll loosen this off. Feed the belt through there. So you don't have to undo the whole thing. I'm not too sure how much tension you need to put on, but at least it's through now. And then we can move on to the next one. So yeah, it's not too bad actually. So we'll just try another one. So that took me less than 5 minutes, first go ever. So again, comes down the bottom, drops down through the far side of the drive motor, the Z drive motor. So we'll pull this belt up, and it comes down through the closest side first. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's definitely it. So it drops right down through the part that's closest to this frame first. Make sure it drops down the right side. Push it through until it comes out the bottom, and then carefully feed it through. And then poke it back up the other side. And there's a hole right at the bottom of the unit, which I can't get to. I need to move this over a fraction to see it. It's quite a big hole. Flip that up through there. Hopefully that's come up through the right side. No, it hasn't. Yeah, that's it. It comes up through there, like so. And then that feeds up through the slot in here. Comes up over the top from the inside, and then put it into here. Oh, took a nosedive. Just screwed this out. Can you see that? Yep. Kind of. And then I was just lifting this up rather than taking it right off. Pulling the belt aside. lift this and feed it through there and pull it through. Okay, so I haven't done that tight, so we'll move on to the next one. We'll miss one and do this one, because it's right there. So the belt comes down out of the bottom of this block on the inside, drops closest to the outside here. So we go down through the very outside of the drive motor. So it comes out the bottom. Make sure there's no twists in the belt. And then that goes back up, returns back up the other side of the drive. So we need to pull this one over. Feeds up through this side of the drive. Almost. Here we go. So it comes up through there. I'm not sure if you can see that. Just comes up through that side. Feeds up through the bottom of this piece here. Pokes out there, pull that up, check down there to make sure that the, I don't even know if you can see that, see if you can see the drive. Yeah, it's going around the outside of the drive, and then that comes up from this hole. No loops, no twists, comes in through the outside, inside of here, over the top, pull it down, loosen the belt, pull it back like that, and we'll loosen this off and then pull it through. Okay, now it pulls down there like that, pull that aside, that gets just pushed through there, and get enough gap to feed it through. Okay, and we've just got one to go. So that was pretty easy, really. So this is the fourth one. Again, it drops straight, so we basically pull it, feed it back this way. I'll do it from afar. So feed it down the very outside of the drive here. Down. Make sure you've got no twists at all in the belt, and then loop it under, and it goes back up through this little hole in the bottom of the housing here. Maybe. Here we go, gotcha. Here it is, comes up through there. Up through the hole in the gantry casing. Pull that tight, make sure you've got no loops, twists in it at all. And then come through inside, through the outside, loosen this off. that back. Push this back, make sure you have no twists in it, and then basically feed it up underneath that block there, and then pull through. And that's the belts in. That's all 4 of the belts in. So check your work, make sure you have got no twists in the belt itself. It has to all be a straight drive through. But that's pretty much it. So that didn't take long, pretty much 15 minutes at the most to do all 4. So we'll find out how to tension those next.